What's good, fam? Agent O here, and today I have the Avengers Endgame SH Figuarts Black Widow figure. I mainly got this figure just because I like the design of the costume because it looks like a souped up version of her comic book costume, just with all black with the red Black Widow insignia. And there's images as you see on the box. I know you guys some of you guys like to look at the box and see the box art, and interesting color choice that they took for this particular packaging. I have a theory as to why they did that, but you know, on the side of the box you have the Tamashii seal of approval, so you know this is not a bootleg. It's a legitimate Tamashii product or Bandai product, Figuarts, whatever. Because there are bootlegs running rampant on Evil Bay. If you're a collector, you know this. So yeah, this is the box. Let us jump into the figure. So yeah, this is Natasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow, and hopefully she'll stand. I don't like the platform shoe feet. I wish they just would make her flat-footed and give her boots or something. But anyway, that's like but that's on all the Black Widow figures they do. So, I like this. I like this design. I like the use of the texture and all the seams to kind of make it look like she's got some kind of armor protection underneath the suit. Looks really good. It is, you know, the little red accents are also a nice touch. I don't remember her belt being slanted in the movie, but maybe that's just a stylistic choice they chose for the figure, or I guess it could have been in the concept art and that's what they were going off of. Some of this figure feels very familiar, like on the back where she has the holsters for her fighting sticks. And it's nice that they finally gave her patented pistols. She has the holsters on both sides, and these are fixed. There's attachments that you take off where the holsters are empty, and you put them on. That's just so that when you put the guns in her hands. But anyway, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Yeah, overall, I just dig the look of this figure. I do like how the boots have a shinier, smooth finish compared to the rest of the figure, because it's a different material. Even her knee pads, her armored knee pads, have some texture on it. Also, I like the areas where they included the folds in her costume. Like from certain angles, it almost kind of looks like you can't even see where the break is that separates the upper torso and the lower torso because of how they did the folds, but that's just when the light plays off of it just right. I think that's also a nice touch. Yeah, I dig this figure. Also, her face sculpt isn't too bad. I feel like it looks enough like ScarJo. None of these things are ever 100% accurate, but I think their face scanning tech is pretty on point. I also got this figure to do a comparison with the Infinity War Black Widow figure, and yeah, I feel like they both look like how she looked in the movie in that particular film. I think I like the paint apps on the Endgame one more than on the Infinity War one. I feel like they're cleaner, and when you get up close, it doesn't look as blurry. But that's just me. Also, the reason why I wanted to do a comparison video was because when I first saw the Endgame Black Widow figure, I thought it was pretty much the same figure as the Infinity War one, and they do share similarities. I feel like they use the exact same legs, they just changed the surface detail, because all the articulation in the legs is exactly the same, even in the feet, because they have the exact same feet. It's actually the sculpt looks almost identical. I would say it's pretty much identical the sculpt of the feet. Just they're colored differently, but I feel like they changed just enough, because there's a seam right here on the boot that is not on her feet, so they kind of changed that up. But other than that, it's the exact same feet, exact same legs. The torso is different. It's constructed differently. Like when I was shooting earlier, I was shooting this, and I accidentally pulled this apart. I don't want to do it again, but basically this lower torso floats on top of the hips, and then the upper torso sits inside of the lower torso. So this is more usually what they usually do. I think both work pretty well. Once again, on the back they have the exact same holster for the fighting sticks, so it's pretty much the same. But yeah, it's minor differences, some tooling. They both have the floating shoulder pieces, and yeah, it's minor differences, but they are there, and that's kind of why I wanted to do. I wanted to compare the two, just because. It was mainly for my own curiosity, honestly. Yeah, I was mainly doing it because of that. So, yeah, there's that. So, moving on. I also wanted to point out one more thing. I was curious as to whether I could switch the heads on these, and you can't, because the articulation's different. You got this large ball peg, double ball peg in the neck, and on hers, the ball peg is much smaller, and it's inside the head. So once my camera decides to focus, there we go. So yeah, so you can't switch the heads, unfortunately. I wish Figuarts would allow that with when they do multiples of certain characters. Like you can get away with it with the Bruce Lee figure. I know you can switch the heads on. But that's the only one I know of that I can think of where that's actually a possibility. But I wish with these Marvel figures they would do that, because I don't know, maybe I want Black Widow to be blonde one day, she's undercover or something, or maybe I want her to have all red hair instead of the look she had in the film. But anyway, articulation's all the same. Because she has this collar, the sculpted collar on her neck, you're not going to get her to be able to look up, and also because of the sculpt of her ponytail, instead of it being articulated, it's just part of the sculpt. You cannot move it, but the plastic is flexible, so you can move it around that way. But I don't know, I would have rather it had a ball, like a ball joint in the back of the ponytail to move it out of the way if necessary. But other than that, yeah, you can get her to look all the way around. You can get her to look down. You just can't really get her to look up. Arms, they have, like I said earlier, she has the floating shoulder bits. She does have a little bit of butterfly action, and no bicep swivel. But if you move her arm up underneath the floating shoulder piece, you can get her arm to go up. But unfortunately, you can't get it to go forward. As you see, I just popped it out of the socket. You're not going to get her arms to go forward that much. Which sucks. I'll do that again. Like I tried to. Usually you can rotate the arms forward, but she doesn't have a lot of articulation in the shoulder, so yeah, I accidentally popped it out, and I didn't realize I was off camera. But yeah, so you have that, unfortunately, but she does have the double jointed arms or elbows, and the ball swivel hands, so that's not an issue. Her torso, you can get side to side, you can get forward, and you can get back. The back is okay. Forward isn't bad either. And since her pelvis just floats in between the lower torso and the hips, you can get some rotation, not a whole lot, but you have the upper torso to kind of make up for it. So you can get a lot of play with the upper torso, and it doesn't, and her lower torso doesn't rock. Oh yeah, it does actually. Wow. Earlier when I was messing with it, I couldn't get it to move that much forward. Maybe I just loosened it by messing around with it just now. So yeah, you do get a lot of play. So she can bend over pretty far when you include the head, and she can bend back pretty far as well. So you do have a lot of leeway there. I wish there was more movement in the arms. And with the legs, she gets this much split, which is pretty nice. It's not full, but it is more than enough so you can do all the nice poses, and that's without it being one of those that drop down joint that the hip usually has. There is an inner thigh swivel. You can see on the inside there. You can see rotation. You can get some rotation. Not a whole lot, but you can get more in than you can out, unfortunately. Double jointed knees. And I've never liked the feet on these Black Widow figures. It's a lot easier on other figures to pose, to point the feet forward and back and do the ankle rockets. With this, you kind of have to like rotate it around a bit in order to, and finagle it around in order to get what you want. But I mean, once you do get a lot. You do get a decent. You do get some decent pivot. But it's just a little on the annoying side. I'd rather they do it the other way that they had been doing it. And also, I forgot toe point. But yeah, I mean, other than the little lack of the shoulder articulation, the poseability on this figure isn't too bad. It's pretty good. You're going to be able to get decent action poses and stuff like that. But I do want to also move on to the accessories. She does come with an extra head, which is unfortunate because I feel like Figuarts has been kind of skimping on facial expressions. All you get is her looking forward, and this one looking to the side, the static looking to the side. I kind of liked when they had more, at least another one where she's yelling or being emotive of some sort. This is one of the holsters that you can replace when you have the guns in her hands. This is what it looks like. So yeah, it's not bad. It's cool. And she comes with pistols. I thought these were the same pistols that came with Age of Ultron Black Widow, but they are not. It's a brand new. It's a different sculpt. It's a brand sculpt specific to this figure. So yeah, she comes with 2 of these. Always nice. She comes with her fighting sticks. They're the exact same fighting sticks that came with the Infinity War Black Widow. Here's one of them. They're sculpted exactly the same. Looks really nice sculpt. They come apart exactly the same, so you can put them in her hands. And yeah, that's pretty much it as far as accessories. She does come with hands. She has her regular bald-fisted hands. She has her flex splayed hands. She has the flex splayed hands. And yeah, I mean, the sculpt on these are pretty nice. She also has her relaxed posed hands. And on the left hand, they have the little time watch, Quantum Realm watch thing that they used in the movie. Spoiler alert. Hopefully you've seen it by now. But yeah, she has that. She also has her trigger finger hands. And overall, it's a pretty decent sculpt. I got no real issues with it. But yeah, like I said, I got this figure just for my own, to satisfy my own curiosity, and because I've always wanted a nice version of her comic book version of her costume in movie form, and I think this is the best one, visually anyway. I thought that I liked the Age of Ultron version, but I didn't like all the blue on it, so this will be my go-to Black Widow. And I do like the blonde, because the red and the blonde, because it's kind of like an homage to both versions of the Black Widow from the comics, for those of you that may or may not know. So yeah, that is going to pretty much do it. I'm trying to keep this short, because there really isn't much else. It's kind of the same figure and kind of not, as far as its build. Lots of similarities, more similarities than there are differences, I feel. And the poseability, like I said, in the shoulder, just could have been a lot better. But I think even on the old figure, it wasn't that great either in the shoulder. So you're not going to get her crossing her arms. You can still cross her arms with the guns. You can get those kinds of poses, but it could have been a little better. So anyway, that's going to pretty much do it. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Subscribe if you haven't, and I will catch you guys on the next one. I am Agent O, and I am out. Peace.